Thanks for visiting the patient and the weather today. I'm meteorologist Al Peterlin. I'd like to talk about the weather health risk for October 12, 2025. We do keep a series of graphics available at tpatw.com. We'll start this briefing taking a quick look at the surface weather map. And while high pressure remains dominant over large sections of the country, we do have active frontal systems that are really setting things unsettled. We have a very much low pressure center developing about Idaho into Montana with a lot of flow coming in from the Pacific Northwest. We have a major cool front hanging from the northernmost portions of Minnesota, cutting across western Iowa down through looks like Colorado, and then the front itself lingering and pushing all the way back towards Los Angeles. We still have that coastal low hanging about North Carolina, but it should be moving on out of the picture, but not before keeping a lot of unsettled weather right along that northeastern seaboard. Looking at the vitality index, and this is our measure of all of the weather elements that could be causing a weather health risk during the day on Sunday. And you can see that a large portion of the west, the Rockies and high plains, and the northern plains are unsettled. We do have that lingering system along the mid-Atlantic seaboard, and of course about southern Florida. Looking at pressure change, and pressure change is one of the most potent issues for individuals with a weather health risk. We can see rising pressure across Montana, Wyoming, cutting through the westernmost sections of North Dakota, much of South Dakota, and cutting across portions of Nebraska. We have falling pressure, however, in the northernmost sections of California, significant falling pressure across Minnesota, Iowa, and down into eastern Kansas. And then we still have that low pressure center right along the coast, Delaware, New Jersey, and Long Island. Looking at temperature change, and we are doing a lot of bouncing around with temperature at this time of the year. We have significant falling temperatures again in the northern plains, Montana, Wyoming, the Dakotas, down to Nebraska. A little bit of falling temperatures down here in southwest Texas and catching the southernmost sections of New Mexico. But we have rising temperatures and that risk of migraine through Iowa into Minnesota. Dew point temperature change is also quite significant at this time of the year, and we do have falling dew point temperatures across much of the mountainous west. We have rising vapor pressure or dew point temperatures down here in West Texas and especially across Minnesota. Very interesting little bubble of increasing moisture right here on the back side of the Appalachians, running all the way from Georgia up through the mountains of North Carolina and on into central Ohio. Vapor pressure shows it a little bit more significantly with the drying here out in the west, and of course that very interesting streak of increasing moisture up through Texas, up into the Texas Panhandle, and really all the way on up into Minnesota and Iowa. And then, of course, we do see that bubble of moisture right up that backside of the Appalachians. Looking at POI, which is our most significant map of interest for those with changed weather risks. And you can see that as the fall is progressing, the area of unsettled weather, so to speak, increases, and you'll have to pay a little bit more attention to the colors of the map itself, and I will try to brief most of the most significant areas. We do have a risk of migraine here in that West Texas, southern New Mexico area, but the most significant area of migraine risk stretches all the way from Nebraska through the Dakotas, across Montana, Wyoming, and then cutting on down into Utah and northern Colorado. We do have that little bubble or little line of migraine risk here from the Carolinas through across Virginia into really southeastern Pennsylvania, a more significant area up here in Maine. And we always have a little bit of migraine risk, especially along the Gulf and across portions of southern Florida. The area of asthma and arthritis risk stretches from the plains clear on up through the Great Lakes. However, the most significant risk area for the arthritis and asthma extends across Iowa, southern Minnesota, and on into Wisconsin. Thanks for visiting The Patient and the Weather today. Comments are appreciated, and if you heard, tell us where you're located.